Hello all, in this particular tutorial we will learn how to run Oracle Database XC in Docker, and we will do the setup and connect. To run the Oracle Database XC in the Docker, there are only two steps. You will have to pull the Docker image and you will have to use the Docker run command to run the Docker. To pull the Docker image, you will use the Docker pull command and you will give the official Docker registry container of the Oracle and you will say Express 21.3.0 XC. If you don't want to specify the version, you can say Express latest, which will pull the latest database XC Express edition. Now, if you don't want to use the Express edition and you want to use the 23 AI, which is the latest Oracle database version available, and the free container image, to pull that you can use Docker pull, again this container location of the Oracle container registry and database free latest. Once the database image has been pulled, you can use the Docker run command to run that particular Docker image. So these are the two steps. One, you pull the Docker image, you run your Docker. Once the Docker has been run, you will be able to connect to your Oracle database. Now, if you want, here we explain Oracle XC or Oracle free container image. If you want to use the Oracle Enterprise Edition, that is also possible. However, there are some additional steps that you will have to perform. You will have to go to the official link. This is the official link of the Oracle Docker containers. You will have to sign in with your Oracle account and you will have to accept the license agreement for either enterprise or standard based on which license you are using. Once you have done these particular steps, then again you will have to log into that container registry.oracle from the Docker environment, and then once you log in, you'll have to make sure you use the same ID, and then once you log in here, then you can either pull the 19.3 Enterprise Edition 19.3 or Enterprise Edition 21.3, or you can say Enterprise Latest, which will pull the latest Enterprise Edition Oracle database. If you want to do this, you don't have to sign into the Oracle website. You can just go ahead and pull these images. However, if you want to do this, you will have to sign into the Oracle website. Now, we will not be doing Oracle Enterprise Edition in here. We will be doing the Oracle XC because that makes my life easier. That will make your life easier. Now, once the Docker image has been pulled, you can use the Docker run command. Here, the minus name is the Oracle Docker. This is the name of the container. This is your choice. This is the host to the Docker port mapping. 1521 is the default Oracle listener port. This is the password, which will become the password of sys user and system. And this is the Docker image that we have downloaded. Once we have run the Docker, the -d says run in background, name is the container name, and E for any environmental variables, and P is the port mapping. Once the Docker image has been run, we are now ready to connect to our Oracle database. How do we connect? So within the Docker, you can connect inside the Docker. Within the Docker, you can say docker exec -t, the name of the Docker that you launch. And then you can say SQL plus, you can give the password. This is the password that we specify, sys password, or you can use the system localhost 1521 is the listener port, and XC is the Oracle SID, the Express Edition SID as sysdba. So this is within the Docker itself. If you don't want to connect using the Docker, and if you have an Oracle SQL Plus on a remote machine, such as on a Unix terminal or a Windows machine, you can connect to the root container. You can specify this is the name of the machine where the Docker container is running. So SQL Plus sys password at Windows 11. So this is where the Docker is running, port, listener port, XC, and this will connect you to the root container. If you want to connect to the PDB database, because within the Docker, there will be automatically a PDB that will get created, XC PDB1. And if you want to connect to that particular PDB, you can connect using the same syntax, except XC, you will specify XC PDB1. So based on whether you want to connect to the root container or PDB database directly, you can use one of these options. Now, if you don't want to use, connect using the container, or if you don't want to connect using the SQL Plus, you can use the GUI tools such as Oracle SQL Developer, DBEver, or DB Visualizer. Here, you will give the host name. If localhost, if you are doing it on the same machine, if you are doing it on the remote, this will be Windows 11 or IP address. This will be the port this will become the service name. If you want to connect to the PDB, you will say XCPDB1. This either you can give sys or system, and this is the password. The sys and system password will remain the same. The password that you specified here becomes the password of sys and system user. So this will become the same. So sys, either you can use this particular password for sys user or system user. And finally, if you want to stop the Docker, you can say docker stop Oracle Docker. If you want to start the Docker, you can say docker start Oracle Docker and remove Oracle Docker. This is the name of the Docker that you specified here while running the Docker. Now that we have seen everything, let's go ahead and go to our machine. Let's find out if under the images, you can see we don't have any images, neither we have any running container. You can see your running containers and there are no running containers. You can verify the same thing using the PowerShell. So if I say docker images, you can see I don't have any images, and if I run docker ps, you can see there is no container ID which is running on this particular machine. The first thing that we'll have to do is we'll have to pull the Docker image. You can either use this one, or you can say express latest, based on whatever you want. You can do that. So let's go ahead and let's clear this particular screen. Or what we can do, we can actually do it in a different terminal. So let's do it here. So we are saying docker pull container registry oracle.com express edition. So let's pull that particular image. Now it has started. You can see it has started downloading. It's a pretty big software. You can see this is a 3 GB software, 696 MB. So it's going to take some time. I do not want to waste your time. So let me pause and come back once it is about to be done or it is completed. And the image has been downloaded and it is right now in the extract phase. So give it a few more seconds for the image to actually get extracted. And as you can see, the image has been extracted and downloaded Newer Image Database Express 21.3. So the next part is when we ran the command, let's go back to the PowerShell. And when we ran that particular command, the Docker images, we got no output. Let's see if we have, and we can see we got the Oracle Database Express 21.3. Or if you want to see if anything is running, you can see nothing is running because we just downloaded that image. We did not start that. And here also you can see containers, nothing is running. However, under the images, we can see an Oracle image which is on this particular machine. So that's good. Now what we can do, we can click on run here and we can specify some of the options here. So these options we can specify manually. However, this is time consuming. So what I'll do, I'll take the docker run command. So this is the docker run command. This is the port, listener port. This will become the sys and system password, and this is the name of the container image that we have downloaded. And this can be anything. This is the name of the container and it can be of your choice. So let's take this, enter command. Let's go to the PowerShell. Let's run this particular command and you can see it has started running. So now if I go to the Docker images and here under the containers, you can see one container running. And if I run docker ps command now, we should see one container image based on Express-C is running. Now this particular container image for the first time is going to start the listener, start the Oracle instance XC, etc, etc. So for the first time, it is going to take some time for the setup to complete. Let's give a few more seconds for this particular setup to complete. Looks like it has done its work. So let's go to let's see if we can connect to the Docker within the Docker itself. So docker exec -t, the name of the Docker, and we are using the SQL Plus to connect to the root container. So the XC is the root container. Let's run this particular command. Let's take this particular command. Let's put it here, docker exec, the name of the Docker, SQL Plus, sys password. This is the password that we specified, localhost, and 1521 listener port, and XC, which is the name of the CDB instance, that the instance name. So let's hit enter and you can see we got connected. If I say show con name, you will see that we are connected to the CDB root. And if you do show PDBs, you will see we got one PDB called XCPDB1. So this is how you can connect to the Oracle database within the docker exec, name of the Docker, and then you can run the SQL Plus command. Now, if you don't want to do this, if you wanted to connect remotely, let's say I have an Oracle client installed on this particular machine. So this is the Unix machine. Let's clear this particular screen. Sorry, the command is clear. So what we'll do, let me just make it a little bit bigger. So what we can do, we can connect to this particular using the SQL Plus. So here, let's say this Win11 is the machine name. So this is the machine name. If I do host name here, you will see that this is the Win11 machine. So this Win here we are saying SQL Plus connect to this particular machine at this particular port and XE, which will connect to the root container. So if I hit and you can see show PDBs, you will see that we are connected to XE PDB1. If you wanted to directly connect, to the PDB, you could have said XE PDB1, and you can now, if I say show con name, you will see that we are connected to the PDB itself, the XE PDB1. So we are directly connected to XE PDB1. So this is how you can connect from a remote machine. So this is another Unix machine, and from that Unix machine we have connected to the Docker container. Now if you don't like any of these options, you can use tools such as SQL Developer, DBweaver or Visualizer. Let's launch SQL Developer. So give it a few minutes. And what we will do, we will click on this plus icon. Let's choose any of this connection and we will change this particular parameter. So let's say we want to connect to the Docker database, whatever name you want to give here, that's your choice. And here username is sys. We can use system as well. The password is password, which is the same. I know that it is password, but let's enter the password. And this is the host name or IP address. It is running on a Windows machine Win11 1521. And if we want to connect to, let's say, the PDB1, so XE PDB1. And if I do the test connection, since I made a sys connection, let's do the test connection, and that's connected. Let's save this connection. Let's connect to that particular connection database. So now what we will do, give it a few minutes for the worksheet to launch, and that's good. So now what we will do, we will see if we have a table called employee. So let's do something. Let's go to let's say select star from employee, and you can see table or view does not exist. So from the SQL Developer, let's create one table called employee. So that's done. Let's insert one record. Let's select from that employee. Yes, we got one employee record. So that's good. Let's commit the transaction. And that's good. Now let's go to the terminal and verify if we have got the employee, which was not that table or view does not exist. I believe we should have the table now with one record, and you can see we got the table with one record. So using the SQL Developer. So all of this is actually connected to the same Docker database, which is running within this particular Docker container. So we have successfully in this particular tutorial, we have successfully installed an Oracle database XE in Docker, and we have seen how to set up the Docker, how to pull the Docker, and how the different methods to connect to that Oracle Docker database which is running within the Docker. I hope this particular tutorial was useful. Again, in this particular tutorial, we did database XE. However, you can do this with Oracle Enterprise Edition, or you can do this with Oracle Database 23 AI free container image. Now, at the end, I would like to say, if you did like this particular video, if you do like the content that I'm uploading, do like the channel, do hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching and see you in next tutorial. Till then, bye bye.